Radio Wham 1180. Next news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens anytime. The Rush Limbaugh Show starts now on News Radio Wham 1180.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, right back at it. Told you we'd be here today, and we are. Rush Limbaugh, the EIB Network, the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies, and all other studies that matter. There are no graduates, and there are no degrees because the learning never stops. Great to have you, as always. Telephone number, want to be on the program, 800-282-2882. The president has been hinting at a massive economic growth number the past couple of days at his rallies. By the way, the next Trump rally is scheduled at 1:30 this afternoon, about an hour and a half from now. It'll probably get started on time, close to it, in Tampa, where there are already and have been thousands of people already in place, lined up, ready for yet another Trump rally. I've got pictures here of Kamala Harris. She was at a rally. I don't even remember where it was. It was, I guess it was Arizona yesterday. In fact, Brian, since I'm talking about, we got these two pictures up here that we can contrast. We'll put them on the Ditto Cam. And for those of you that don't have the Ditto Cam, if you're not a subscriber at rushlimbaugh.com, you're not watching the program, we'll put it at rushlimbaugh.com, the website eventually. There is Kamala Harris. There she is at a car horn rally in Arizona. Yet why even bother? That's it, folks. That's the crowd that she drew. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars. And that the angle of that photo is designed to show the crowd. It's taken from behind her. You can see her there on stage. Now let's switch over to Trump. And look at that. That's just one of his 2 rallies yesterday in Arizona. And I remember back in 2016 that everybody was saying crowd size. Yeah, you can't extrapolate crowd size and vote turnout. You just can't. They've never been able to do that in politics. And they're saying it again this. It's amazing. These gigantic crowds for Trump, which are larger than they were 4 years ago, don't matter. They just don't matter. They're not a factor. The fact that Biden, Kamala, Barack Hussein Obama are not drawing flies, no, that doesn't matter either. At any rate, it's fascinating to watch all of these professionals try to suppress the vote, try to depress you and otherwise dispirit you. Anyway, back to me. Thank you, Brian. Now, the president, as I say, has been hinting at a massive economic growth number, a massive GDP number. Today, it was released. Third quarter GDP, 33.1%. This is, in fact, the V-shaped recovery that she was in Tucson. Okay, that's where Kamala, Tucson, Arizona. It doesn't matter where she was. Nobody showed up to see her. She V-shaped recovery, 33.1%. This is the best economic recovery in history. And folks, it only happened because of the things Trump put in place. This is not automatic. It is not something that was going to happen anyway. When the economy is solid, we can survive a massive unknown hit like this thing by the coronavirus. What you're seeing here is the results of what happens with a closed economy, the second quarter, and then an open economy, the third quarter. What it means is that we could use even more stimulus. We need Congress to get rid of this Pelosi roadblock. You need to get, folks, the evidence is so clear. The Democrats are the roadblock. The Democrats are, this would not be possible if the Democrats were in the White House, if Biden or whoever was in the White House, and everything else that had happened would not be possible. We wouldn't have had 33% GDP report today. We'd be locked down. We would be shut down. In fact, there's a there's really a scary, scary story today. I just saw this before the program started. And I wonder if I put it in the stack. I don't really need it. It's a story about Australia or New Zealand or one of those places over there in the Australia area. And it is Dr. Fauci. And somebody is asking Dr. Fauci, well, look what happened either in New Zealand or Australia. They shut down for 111 days, and they got rid of all their cases of COVID-19. And Fauci says, yep, it's exactly what we need to do. Shut down for 111 days. Do you realize that's over 3 months? That's 3.5 months these guys are talking about shutting down. This is Dr. Fauci. And I guarantee you, if Biden's elected president, Fauci's going to be running COVID-19 policy. 111 days. If these people get the power to do that, you can kiss your economic recovery goodbye and everything associated with it. I will find the story because it's I put it here in the stack. It's scary what these people are planning to do, and this is just independent of COVID-19. If they implement their other economic policies, such as the Green New Deal, in conjunction with whatever drastic plans they have for COVID-19. Oh, I shudder. I just shudder to think what these people are going to do to this country. Art Laffer told Just the News, the website here, that this is the best ever recovery. But, bottom line, the reason that's the best is because the first and second quarter were the two worst. They were caused by something not economic. They were caused by the pandemic, the first and second quarter economic activity. So Laffer points out this is not a normal recovery, say, in the sense of the Great Depression. Art Laffer said that the data from the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis would show 8% growth from the second quarter, which extrapolated over 4 quarters would come to the annualized growth rate of 32%, and that's what we've got. Art Laffer said that the 30 to 35% range GDP, very nice V-shaped recovery, probably the single best quarter ever, but then again, it was the single worst quarter ever in the second quarter, the quarter preceding this one. We're just having a really nice, sharp bounce back, which is just what should happen, and it has happened. Art Laffer is an informal economic advisor to President Trump, including on how to respond to COVID-19. He said the Q3 bounce back would not have been possible without strong economic fundamentals. He said compared to Europe and other developed nations, the United States has recovered more quickly in part because the federalist model of flexible, decentralized government with power exercised at the state level allowed for a more rapid economic reopening in areas that were less at risk of intense COVID outbreaks. Now, you can extrapolate something from that. Take a look at these blue states that are still locked down for all intents and purposes. And then imagine what would have happened if those blue states, blue governors, Democratic, if they had opened up, even just partially. If New York had just partially opened up, Wisconsin, not Wisconsin, Minnesota, Washington, state of Washington, parts of Oregon, if they had just opened, then we would have even rosier economic numbers than what we have here. And the country would be doing all that much better as well. But I got to tell you, folks, the bottom line is you cannot get rid of the virus by hiding from it, like Dr. Fauci seems to think. You cannot get rid of the virus by shutting down your country for 111 days. You cannot do it. And they haven't done it in Australia, New Zealand, wherever it is that they think they've beaten it. They haven't. They've just prolonged and delayed the impact of COVID-19 affecting their population. They haven't gotten rid of the virus. They haven't stopped it dead in its tracks. They haven't done anything. All they've done is shut down, kept people indoors, made sure there's no human contact outside of families. And they're all beating their chests and proud as they can be of how they've outsmarted COVID-19. And right there is Dr. Fauci endorsing the whole thing. So is it true that it is the economy stupid when it comes to elections? I guess we're going to find out. GDP, 33% growth rate in the third quarter. We have had a 96.5% economic recovery in less than a year. We have over 17 million jobs created in 3.8 years. Pardon the sniffles. It's part of what plagues me. The 17 million jobs, 3.8 years. This includes the jobs created pre-pandemic in the Trump economy. Then we come along and the pandemic hits. We shut down. We lose millions of jobs. Now we are recreating those jobs. So if you add the jobs that were created pre-pandemic, the jobs created in the recovery for the pandemic, we're talking over 17 million. In 8 years, the Obama administration created 12 million jobs. Trump in 3.8 years, not 8, but 3.8 years, 17 million jobs. Biden has pledged to end 11 million jobs with his economic plan, with his Green New Deal. By definition, the Biden economic plan is going to force people out of work by shutting various major, powerful industries. Thing is, a lot of people just don't know, because the drive-by media is not explaining the truth of it's Bernie Sanders' agenda and her agenda. Not only is the GDP up, but weekly jobless claims fell to the lowest level since March. The COVID shutdowns then. Experts expected 751,000. Experts expected 778,000 jobless claims. We got 751,000. So much less than what was expected. And again, Trump beats expectations. Now, these so-called experts, they really don't expect bad results from Trump. They hope for them. Big difference. And more often than not, they are disappointed. Grab soundbite number 2. This is Charles Gasparino. Yesterday afternoon, the Fox Business Network, the Clayman Countdown. It's Liz Clayman's show. And she said to him, as the markets crater, because they were yesterday on the COVID news and some other things, as the markets crater, the election day draws near, how are hedge funders preparing?
Hedge fund traders I know, and these are household names, they see some light at the end of the tunnel for Trump, that there are ways he can pull out a victory in Pennsylvania. There's a way he can pull out possibly a victory in Michigan. They see the enthusiasm of his crowds. They are looking at specific polling of specific districts and areas that trended to Trump the last time. Are they trending this time? And they see some pickup there in those battleground states. It's Michigan, it's Pennsylvania, it's Wisconsin. They are looking at polling data that really starts to show that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
For a Trump victory is what that means. So Gasparino here is saying that the market has not baked in a win for Biden. The market is not proceeding on the assumption that Biden is going to win. And Gasparino says that traders, hedge fund traders and others, are starting to see light at the end of the tunnel for Trump, and that it is tightening in the battleground states. Now, these are people who put their money behind their decisions. Now, these are not... For these people, in many cases, it's not about policy or ideas or politics and ideas or ego policy ideas. It's about money. And what it means when they haven't baked in a win for Biden. It means that they have not assumed that Biden already has this thing won, and therefore they have to adapt accordingly. They think it's still possible that that Trump could pull this out. In fact, another pollster sees a Trump win. This is a Kyle Smith story in the New York Post. This pollster is Jim Lee. Susquehanna Polling and Research says that the president will carry Pennsylvania and will prevail in the election, to go along with the Trafalgar Group's Robert Cahaly. Let me take a brief break, and we'll come back, and we will roll right on like nothing's stopping.
Rush Limbaugh, bringing America the truth on the EIB network.
Rochester's news, weather, and traffic station.